Well, happy Sunday. Good to see you all again. Today I'm not going to go on a real long hike, but I am going with full pack. I'm headed over to Bullards Beach State Park, and we'll spend the night over there. Need to try out some new stuff and make sure that what I'm going to take down to Tennessee is going to work. I'll try out some new stuff. I'll show you that when I get over there. But anyway, been a little while since I've made a video. I have been out on the roads. I just haven't had time to make videos about it all. So today's about a 3 or 4 mile little jaunt over, and we'll spend the night in the hiker biker camp and come back tomorrow. So, but it's a little damp out right now, but it's supposed to clear up a little bit, and especially tomorrow. It's been a wet week here in Oregon, so we'll see in a little bit. Well, it's supposed to be nicer this afternoon. The rain seems to be easing up, but we're going to head down toward the Banded Marsh and follow along. The Coquille River, looks like the tide is out, is over there, and as far down as you can see, it takes a right turn and then goes up and over the Coquille Rive Bridge, which we're going to cross before we get to Bullards, but we're going to head down this road about 1.5 miles first. When you come into Bandon, you'll go by this place. This is not an aquarium, this is our sewage plant, which has some nice murals painted on it. Looks better than just bare cement, but this is right at the tip here of the boat basin. Well, we're about halfway to our destination here. We're going to peel off here at the Bandon Marsh. Look out over the river. Probably won't be too many birds today. I see one car out here. Nice little spot. A lot of variety of birds out here. All these guys do live here. Variety of ducks too. I just saw a bald eagle at the top of one of these large spruce trees coming here, but he took off after I made a little noise. Pretty cool though. See them out here sometimes. All right, we got a little under 1 mile to go. That road goes up to Prosper Village, where we've been hiking before. This way goes to the most dangerous bridge to walk over in all of Oregon, I think, and I've walked over all of them. Once you get around the corner up there, Coquille Rive Bridge. Well, that's helpful. That sign's fairly new. Still going up here, you see the brown sign that leads off to Bullards. So that's what's ahead. I'm going to turn the camera off before I get up there. We're now up at the north end of the Bandon Marsh, where the Coquille River goes up to Coquille and Myrtle Point and Powers. This is dangerous because it doesn't have a very high guardrail. The sidewalk is less than 18 inches to walk on, so you have to kind of pick and choose your time to walk. Once we're on the other side, it'll be okay though. A lot of shipwrecks, the river wrecks out here. You can see that old barge there and one over there. And this area pretty much fills up during high tide, but right now it's not filling up. Despite the signs, 30 miles an hour. Most of these vehicles will go on about 45 or 50, so you have to be on your guard out here. It's narrow real quick. See you on the other side. This is the middle of the bridge. This section here raises up and it gives you even less clearance. But I'm on a little platform that sort of protects me from traffic. They'll have to go through a steel girder to get me. And I'll go through the rest of it once these two cars up ahead go by me. I think we're going to survive today. Way up there, those houses up there is Prosper Village where we've been before, but yeah, this is a little tricky. You just got to get around this little hump here and then it widens out and go up there where that car is turning and we'll be there. All right, we have to go register, but I think we'll find a place to camp first. Probably nobody here. The one dry spot up here by the power. Put my pack down for a little bit. All right. Price hasn't gone up, so that's good. All right, this looks like a flat enough spot right here. With its own little table. A little damp, but I'm going to wait a little while to get set up. It's just stopping now, so you can get ready for a damp but not rainy night. Also have some new cookware I'm going to try out. Some old food, but some new cookware. I left some at home. Thought I'd need a few other little things, but no, you know, the trick with a through hike is to not take everything you think you need. If you need it really later, you can always get it. But, you know, I've learned on the PCT, one, I took way too much food and I left a good chunk of it down in Campo before we even left. And last year, I didn't take as much and I needed a little less of a few things. And this year I've got not a lot in my pack. I left a lot of things at home that I thought I might need, and I think I'm going to whittle all that down. I had like 3 bags, little ditty bags of stuff, you know, sewing kit, you know, little things you need, you know. Yeah, some of that stuff might be used once in 2,000 miles, but I'm just going to whittle that down a little bit more to a couple of Band-Aids, some floss, a few needles, and super glue. Super glue and duct tape, you can solve most of the world's problems with that. So I will keep that stuff and some cooking stuff. I did get, where's it at? A new stand. I'm not sure about this guy yet, which is, fits in my pocket, which is nice. A new stand for the camera. Folds out nice, doesn't weigh too much, and it's magnetic, so, you know, it's easier to get the camera on and off and do some of those shots. But, you know, that'll probably be one of the first things that goes when I get started. I'll find another way to set that up. You can just kind of set your camera in a tree half the time and take pictures that way. So I'm going to run down to the check-in office and put my fee in the box so the good people that take care of that don't rustle me out in the middle of the night. I've seen them do it. I saw a guy do that down in Brookings once and offered this guy out of the park. So that made a believer out of me. I think he was overextending his stay and didn't pay anyway. So anyway, don't want to chance it. So, you know, we'll come back and get set up and I'll check in with you before dinner. The fire maple pot seems to work good. It seats on the burner, which has an igniter which works good. Well, I'm going to sign off for the night here. Seems like it's going to be pretty quiet here. I'm going to lock my food up in where you put your phone to get it charged, but I don't need to charge, I just need to store the food. We're gonna get up and out tomorrow, and I'll show you how I pack my pack, which is probably like how a hobo would pack his pack. So, but it all fits, and I can find everything. And as long as you do it the same way, you can find it each time you put it in. So you'll have a good night, and it's really quiet here now. It's just a little dripping off the trees, but it's quit raining, and we'll get in bed here soon, probably be up most of the night. But not a bad day. We've got to do this again a little bit longer next time, but thanks for coming, and we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's not raining anymore, and I'm still in my tent. I'm starting to pack up. What I'm doing in here, I'll show you around a little bit. This is a double wall tent. I have a lot of room. The inner layer is mesh, and the outer vestibules are huge. I don't even use both of them. Get some breakfast going here. Got English muffins and cream cheese for breakfast, and a little bit of coffee, and that'll get me back into town. In the town, I may go into a coffee place and get a good hot cup of coffee before rolling up the hill. But I'll get out and get going. All right, well, getting ready to leave. The sleeping bag goes in first. Everything else, the tent goes in next, but I gotta take the tent down, so. By putting the tent in a plastic bag without rolling it up and putting it in its proper snuff sack and all that, you save a lot of space. There aren't any air pockets so much in here anymore. All right, basically everything else goes in. I gotta put my shirt on, take my puffy off. The rest of the clothes are already in here. They can go in. The miscellaneous items can go in the front pouch. Things I really don't need. I can get at the rest of the stuff pretty easily. My stove, my electronics bag with my battery in it. I've got my cup and my cozy here for my hot food. That goes inside the cup when I'm done. This I'll leave home next time, which went around my sleeping pad, which actually did a pretty good job last night. It moves around some, but not too bad. That's in. Bag and everything else can go in. The coat goes in on top. And we're good. My doorstep. Put this outside my pack to keep me a little dry when I get out of my tent. And now it's time to finish coffee before we get the last 5 minutes in and get ready to go. I still have quite a bit of room in this Osprey 58-liter pack. So I've taken the brain off, and with the food in and everything else, I still have quite a bit of room on top, because it doesn't have a lot of food in like it would if I'm going on a long trip or through hike, which makes it a little easier to get through the airport and things like that. So the cup can clip on, or it'll go in my bag in front, and keeps my hands from burning on the hot aluminum parts. There we go. I'll make one last trip around camp for trash. Put the trash in the trash can, and off we'll go. Not a bad restroom, but it is lacking power outages, powder receptacles, so hopefully the yurts have that. I did find mostly for bikers here, but they have these little lockers that have things you can put your USB cable and use this for a little storage locker. You can apply a lock or just use these little hooks. I've never had any problems with these, but it's always good to be safe. All right, we bid adieu to our hiker-biker camp here. We get on the road. We're about 10 minutes late today, but that's not really on a time clock, so we'll get all day. Beautiful day though. Again, no wind. It's just turning a teeny bit warm, which is nice. The toes will warm up here in a minute, and we'll get back out, get over the bridge, and then it'll be a little safer. The Riverside Drive's not all that safe, but that large pile of wood up there is the osprey nest. It's been there for many, many, many years. About another month, you'll be able to see Mom and Dad osprey, and sometimes a couple little heads. If you watch closely up there, there's nobody home today, I'm pretty sure. We'll focus in up here. I don't see anybody up there, but they say in a good year there'll be 2 little baby birds. In an average year there's just 1. Right now I don't see anybody up there, but we'll keep an eye on that. This is just before the Bandon Bridge, which is coming up right here. Let's get over the bridge and then continue on. A pretty constant stream of traffic, but we're over and headed back down the road up here, and tide's coming in. You see it's about 4 feet deeper than it was the other day when we went over to Bullards. So anyway, we'll head on down here. Big old dark cloud coming in. I think we'll beat that into town anyway. Go up to the marsh and have a little look around. We're back at the abandoned marsh. Pull in here and take a little short break and look at the view. With the tide in, you can see it's the river way out there, and this is just marsh here. We're heading over to downtown Bandon, which is right below the cliffs over there where those houses are at. Hope to get up to the top of Langlois Mountain this week. I have a couple of dental appointments, a few other doctor's appointments, and I got to get a physical scheduled. Gonna do that next, and make sure everything's checked out. Good to do that now. It gets more expensive if you have to do it later. All right, get a little snack and head out in about 5 minutes. We've made it back into town, and the tide is now coming in. I think, let's look here. No, the tide's going out. You can tell around here the direction of the tide. If the poles over there have, you see where the water mark is from high tide, and as the tide goes out, that'll drip. As the tide comes up, you don't have a water mark above it, only when the tide goes out. So that's how you can tell which way the tide's going. But we head over by the hanging tree right there and head down to Abandoned Coffee and get a little caffeine, go up the hill, and then head home. The marina was refurbished last spring, so it's looking pretty good. Yes, that's an old schooner from the 1800s, a replica anyway. I'm going to go in here and find a place to park my pack. Now I can get properly fed with some coffee and a breakfast cookie. Ugh. I'm going to sign off from here. Overall, pretty good. I think if I had to leave something behind next time, it would be the merino wool bottoms I brought with me. Didn't really use them. I did find a pair of gloves on the way out of the park, some hiking gloves. That should be pretty good. Anyway, thanks for coming along today. Hopefully we'll get out a couple of days next time and then start working our way up. Take at least about a 3-day trip, mostly hiking before we get out of town and go back east at the end of April. Thanks for coming. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You can follow along and see what wacky things occur on this journey. And ring the bell if you want notifications when I post new content. And a thumbs up is always helpful to let other people see what's going on and how to prepare for through hike. Next time I'll talk a little bit more about some of the history and how that's affected me, and some failures and some successes along the way. But until then, have a great week. Get out and get a little walk in, and enjoy the sun or snow or rain or whatever you do, or your big chair in the living room. Take care.